Hi, hello, welcome to a video that's coming out late. This was supposed to be last week's art video, but I held off on recording it because I was drawing stuff that I wasn't sure if was going to get included in the video or not, so I held off on recording it, and then I procrastinated even a little bit more. But hey, hi, it's 2023, so what we're gonna do today is look back at 2022. So, now basically, I want to go back and look through some of the art that I liked that I drew in 2022. Because, it's fun to look back at stuff. I feel like it's the proper time of year, New Year's, start of the new year, but still looking back and seeing the things that I liked, the improvement I made, the, stuff that I could work on even. But, I didn't want to make this redundant in that, looking at the same things I was looking at in my work in progress graveyard video, where I was, looking at works in progress and stuff that I had never gotten around to finishing, etc., etc. So I didn't want there to be crossover, so I didn't want to do any just sketches or anything for this video. It's only finished pieces. And I just tried to pick out some, my favorites, well, most of my favorites, I shouldn't say some. I have a bunch of things open right now. So we could just take a look at it, and I can just reminisce on, the stuff that I made this last year. But yeah, again, though, sorry that, this is out a bit late. Again, I was drawing stuff up till, New Year's Eve, and I wasn't sure how that was gonna turn out and if I was gonna include that in this video. It's not polished in a way where I really want to include that, but I had a good time though. But anyways, the first drawing that we're gonna start with is this one behind me. This is a drawing of Edda Blackbosom from Final Fantasy XIV. It was I think I drew it exclusively this year, from sketch to finish. I drew it in January. And yeah, I am I don't do backgrounds as often as I should. My backgrounds often end up being a single color, or maybe a pattern or something, or a gradient or something like that. So one thing I do like about this one for sure is that I actually did some kind of a background, even if it was relatively simple. I like that I put the candles there, I like that I have the sort of cave vibes in the background, but I do think I could have been a little bit better, but I don't think it's bad. And I also really like the colors that I used, so I do often use gradient maps and just other color adjustment layers in Clip Studio, so I definitely use those here. I always adjust my colors at the end, so they always end up looking better because I do that. But I, it takes, you have to make a choice with that. It is something that you still have to think about and stuff, and I personally really like the colors I used here, but I'm always a hoe for purple, and I also like pinks and blues and stuff, and there's a bit of red and orange. I think it goes well, and I like the kind of messy painted look that I have with this one. And I like the scythe. I like how the scythe turned out, because I'm really bad with weapons and stuff. I don't draw weapons too often, and it's definitely something I'd like to work on. Maybe I'll work on it this year, getting better, not only drawing weapons, but also designing them, because I'm really bad at designing them. But in this case, the design was already there. I just had to draw based off of a reference. But yeah, so this was one from early on that I really liked. On to the next one. Okay, this was a joke drawing. So why did I include a joke drawing on here? Because I really like it. So, this is basically I was gonna say a boss. I don't know why I'm gonna say a boss. A monster from Final Fantasy XIV called a Lunatender, but this is specifically the Lunatender Queen, which is a S-rank hunt monster. And I was gonna draw the Lunatender Queen just for funsies, because it has a really funky, kind of funny looking design. Honestly, it's really colorful and long and noodly looking. And it was just just gonna be a funky little joke drawing. And then for some reason I didn't like how the body was turning out, I think, or something like that. And so I zoomed it in and just was drawing the face and just painting this in. And then I did a really messy background, and then I blurred it, and I'm just oh, that actually looks kind of good. I genuinely like it. I was messing around with the different like color editing type layers, and I liked how it turned out. So genuinely, I think this is a cool drawing, but even though it's silly, like it's just like a little noodly alien cactus thing, but I do like it a lot. I thought it was worth including. You know, I love her. I want to be her. Oh gosh. Okay, so this is so you know, if you've like followed me on any kind of social media, if you follow me on like Twitter, Instagram, or anything, you probably know that like I play D&D and stuff like that. Well, I've also played D&D. There's not many other like TTRPGs that I've gotten to play, but I would like to play more. But with this one group, we were trying to play like a Final Fantasy based, like Final Fantasy 14 based D&D campaign. It didn't pan out. We only had a few sessions, unfortunately. But the character I was playing, Laheli Taxatuna, she is a black mage, Mikote, and this is her design. But I did start this drawing like in 2021. It did not finish it until 2022. Most of it was honestly done in 2022. Like I did the sketch in like flats. Like I was maybe starting the shading in 2021, but like I don't think I had like the hands drawn or anything like that. So it was finished in 2022, and yeah. And I will say with this one, just I enjoy her design. Like I enjoy like, you know, Mikotes are cute and stuff. I didn't reference actual like Mikotes though. I probably should have. I think if I was to redraw her, I probably would. Like I did at one point like kind of make her in game just to see what she'd look like, because I was just in my head when I do this, I'm just like cat girl. I didn't really reference Mikote. But then the funny thing is I did go and reference the clothing, because like this is actually like a level 15 outfit, like for disciples of magic to use. So, and like even the staff, that's like I don't even remember what level that staff is, but that is actually a staff that you can use as a black mage. So like I did reference those. I did not reference how like Mikotes usually look like face wise and stuff, but yeah, like, you know, I do also like really like this character. I only got to play her for a couple of sessions, but I like her as a character, and I think one thing I do like about the design, even though like yeah, these are clothes that are based on actual clothes from the game, I added in the burns. Like those are not there in the game. Like I added in the burns because I feel like that tells a story about this character, and like the, you know, having an eye patch and like having the burn marks on her neck and like her jaw and stuff like that. It tells you a bit about the character without you even having to interact with her. And I just generally like the design, and I am attached to this character. I have like a playlist for her and stuff, but yeah, she might just end up becoming just a general OC of mine, just, you know, Final Fantasy OC. But yeah, and one thing I do like about this is that I decided to go with that rim lighting, like around the edges of like her clothes and stuff. I didn't go super hardcore on like making shadows like on the face in front of it to like contrast with that. I could have done that more. I feel like I did it more with like the bottom of like her outfit and stuff, putting like the shading in there to make it actually seem backlit. But honestly, like in my head it's like it's backlit, but then also there's probably a light source in front. That's why like you have like the highlight on the hair and stuff like that. So that's my excuse. But yeah, but I do think backlighting stuff looks really cool, and I should definitely use that more. On to our next one. Oh, this is a drawing of an NPC from the main D&D campaign I'm in, the Clown House. I don't have much else to say about this character. Her name is Mimi, and her like face claim is Megan Thee Stallion, and so this was based off of like straight up based, like I referenced a picture of Megan Thee Stallion in this outfit, just I think it was pink though, but so I just changed the color of it, and so that was me just wanting to draw Mimi in one of Megan Thee Stallion's outfits. I will say like there are things that I would change about this. Mainly I would change like the color I shaded like the bows and stuff on. I don't really like how that green looks with the rest of it, and I think I would have shaded the hair a bit more, used a bit more, like make it a little more colorful, because like I think when you compare that with like how the skin is shaded with like the different tones, I don't know if the hair feels as finished to me, or if the green like really goes in it. Overall I like it. I just think I could have done better, and I don't like how the background looks anymore. She is a Yuki Onna, so like she does have ice powers and stuff, so that's why I'm like, yeah, you know, blue snowflakes. But oh, and one thing I also forgot to include was like she has snowflakes in her hair. So I should have just used the snowflake brush in her hair, really. But but yeah, and so yeah, I think I would definitely change the background, not just do like a gradient with snowflakes. I'd probably do somewhat of a better background. It doesn't have to be super detailed, but I think the way the snowflakes look with it, I feel like it just looks cheap. I almost want to say, like I don't know, like with how like painted she looks stylistically versus these like generic, clearly like this is just a brush and not me hand painting them. It just I feel like they don't really go together. But yeah. But I still think it's a cute drawing. Like overall, I like the drawing. But like I think her face turned out really cute. I do think maybe I'd make the head a little smaller. I always go back and forth debating head sizes. I used to draw heads like pretty big proportionally with the bodies, but I've kind of gone back and forth. I'm trying to make them a little like smaller. Not that proportions have to be perfectly realistic, but I've kind of debated that a bit. But I do like how I drew her face. I think she is cute, especially the eyes. Oh, this one. Okay, so this one. This is like definitely one of my big faves that I drew this year. This is a character from Elden Ring, and I actually drew her on stream partially. I did not finish her on stream. I had to finish her in post because I did not. I took a while to do it. But yeah, there's a lot I like about the drawing. Again, I like that I actually drew a background. I like it when I actually successfully draw backgrounds of of one like types of backgrounds that aren't just like a gradient a gradient with snowflakes. So yeah, like and again, I generally like the colors, with of course my correction layers and stuff to adjust those colors. I like having vibrant colors. And with this one, another thing I liked what I did was that I put this like textured layer on top of everything, and so that's why it has a sort of textury feel. Like, even on parts that should be like flat colors, there's texture to them. I don't remember what the texture was, but it was probably like a Clip Studio like asset, like pre-downloaded, or if not, I might have downloaded one. But I think it was a sort of preloaded one. But yeah, like I like this. I like this a lot. I'm not good at drawing like fur and stuff, but I think the fur coat thing turned out pretty good. I like the clothing folds and stuff. I like this overall. I like the detail in it, and I like having a background at all. I do think I should work more on backgrounds. Definitely work more on like drawing plants and things like that. But again, I do enjoy this drawing very much. This is one that I'm pretty proud of. I think it shows improvement for me in my art, but that's just me. This one is a excuse me. This one is a drawing of Clover from the Zero Escape series, specifically from 999. Spoiler? Question mark? Ignore the axe. If you haven't played it, you plan to. Ignore the axe. Ahaha. Oopsie. Anyways. Yes, this is Clover from 999. I like the textures of this. Like, I didn't blend the shading as much. Like, well, I didn't really blend the shading. I like, I don't know. There's something about the texture that I like, how it's not refined. That said, I do think I feel like I missed some details. I'm trying to remember, like, if she had, like, pockets on her jacket and, like, things like that. I don't think I missed a lot of detail, but there are some things I'd probably touch up a bit, like the pattern on the skirt maybe a bit, but overall I like it, and I like the colors I used, and I feel like the background makes sense if you know the situation going on with what happens in the game. So yeah, like overall I like it. Stylistically I like it. I like the colors. It's one of my faves. It's another one of my faves definitely for this year. I think I did a pretty good job. And this one is also interesting because, like oftentimes with drawing, like I do like a pencil sketch, like a digital pencil sketch, but I do a sketch, and then I clean it up. Oftentimes it'll be like I do the sketch, and then underneath it I put flat colors, and then I merge them, and then I paint on that. But this one, rather than doing a sketch, I just blocked in the colors. Sometimes I switch to doing that. Like my process, I don't have like a singular process that I always use. I change up my process and I try to do different things sometimes, especially if doing it one way is just not working for me. I definitely like to switch things up. So with this one, I just blocked in the colors and tried to refine as I went. And I think I think it turned out okay. You know, there could be anatomy issues, but you don't see enough of the anatomy. She's got a puffy jacket, you know. If her arms aren't quite in proportion, oh, it's the shoulders. You know, I think that's what got me in my head. Like, I realized afterwards, I'm like, the shoulders were worse though before. Like, I touched them up a bit. If you don't look at it too long as well, you won't see issues with the shoulders. But I think the more you stare at it, the more it's obvious. I didn't like reference a pose or anything either, so whatever. But yeah, I still very much like this drawing. This one I just thought was cute. This was one from Art Fight. If you don't know what Art Fight is, it's basically this event that happens every July, and it's where, it's just, you go on this website and you post your characters, your OCs, your original characters, and descriptions of them and stuff, reference images, and there's 2 teams, and then you attack the other team by drawing people's characters. You basically just, you're having fun drawing other people's characters and stuff, and it's just a big event, like, once a year. It's neat. I like participating in it. I didn't draw as much as I wanted to this year, well, even last year. But it's fun to do. And this was just someone's character. I believe this is a Kirby OC, but I'm not sure. I don't fully remember. Obviously a very simple design, but I thought I did a cute job with this. Like, I thought this turned out good. I like the shading and stuff. Like, it's simple, but it still looks like cute and all painterly. And I did like I know I'm complaining a lot about my backgrounds being too simple, but I actually think this background fits for it. Like, just having the lines there and just a black background, I feel like it works, and I think it looks cute. So, well, whatever. This is a drawing. I think I did this around July too, instead of working on an Art Fight drawing. It was not supposed to be a serious drawing either. It was just supposed to be a doodle. But basically, this is a character from the Clown House D&D campaign, and she's a NPC, but she's relevant to my character's backstory and stuff. And I just wanted to do a little doodle of her that I ended up taking more seriously than I meant to. So that's how this turned out. And I like it. And you see at this point, like, I kind of updated my Clip Studio a bit late. I'm always lazy with the updates, but at this point in time, I had finally updated it, and I got the Liquify tool, and so that's how I made that effect with the background, and I just think it looks super, super cool. But yeah, I like with this one, I really go back and forth on how I want to render stuff, like whether I want to have outlines or not. This one, clearly there's sketch lines still there from the original pencil sketch, but I kept them in and I liked how they look. Other ones got blended into it, just from me painting over them, but I don't mind having a bit of a messy look like that. I still think, I don't think it takes away from it. I like it, especially when my shading is very much very visible brush strokes, so I feel like it makes sense for it. But yeah, overall, again, something that I enjoy is doing colors, doing nice, interesting looking colors, oftentimes with purples and stuff, purples and pinks and blues and things like that. So I think mission succeeded, mission accomplished. But yeah, I like how she turned out. And this is another Art Fight drawing. This is probably the drawing I was procrastinating on when I did that last drawing. This is also a Clown House drawing of 3 NPCs who we lovingly refer to as the Demon Boys. I don't know if I want to get too into talking about the characters themselves, because I feel like I'm gonna make this video drag on even more because I'm already showing you so many drawings. But this was a fucking achievement for me. First of all, I barely draw multiple characters in a single drawing. It's something I'm trying to do more and more. Genuinely, I am making an effort to try to do it more. But yeah, I drew 3 characters in one drawing. It was a big attack. It was a big Art Fight attack, for me at least. And fully rendering them. And I referenced all their poses. I've of course noticed that, when I actually reference poses, they turn out better. Who'd have thunk looking at something helps you? References are useful. I'm just lazy to reference stuff sometimes, but poses and stuff always turn out better when I reference them. Definitely something I should do more. And I definitely want to do more interesting poses like these. I feel like these turned out interesting looking rather than them just all standing up straight. So yeah, so I used reference images for all of them, and I like how I rendered them. I especially liked how I rendered this character Aglisar. I think I did a fucking great job on the muscles. I think I did a good job. And like his sleeves, they weren't supposed to be see-through. I made them see-through because I'm like, fuck it, I drew these arms, they look good, so you're gonna see them. This is my stylistic choice. He has sheer sleeves. But yeah, like generally I like how I rendered stuff. Like there's certain things I'd improve, like the way this character's foot here looks. I don't think that looks quite right. But you know, like I didn't quite render that foot in 3D. Not like, granted, it could just be like a side profile of the foot, but I feel like it should have been more like Aglisar's foot here, where like it was at a different angle. But overall, like I like how they all turned out, and I like how the colors turned out. I made them more uniform by using correction layers. Again, it's good to try out different tools that you have available to you in your art program, because you can do cool things with them. But yeah, and like the background is very much supposed to look like stained glass, and I wanted to incorporate sort of their main colors in their fucking Powerpuff Girls colors. I actually did an edit of the Powerpuff Girls to make them look like these three, because while I was drawing this, I was like, wait a second. But yeah, but the way I achieved the stained glass sort of background is first, like, I just, took a line tool and was like drawing lines to try to make something vaguely stained glass looking, and then but I was using, I think, an eraser while I was doing that. Like, it was the eraser tool, so I was erasing bits of this rectangle. And then I, did the paint bucket tool to just change the colors of certain bits. And then there is a brush that I think is default to Clip Studio, where it's these cracks. It's like, broken glass or something. I don't know what it's actually called, but it's a crack brush. So I started going over with that. I had to reduce some of them though, because there was too many. But use it at your discretion. And then I took, I believe, I don't think it was a brush, I think it was just an actual texture again, like one of the, like the Elden Ring drawing from before. I just took a texture that I put on top of it and edited it accordingly with whatever blending layer I wanted to use. And then I think I had some kind of gradient where like stuff is lighter on top and a little darker towards the bottom of this. It's more subtle though. But yeah, and then I did, I think, the Gaussian blur at the end, and that's how I got this fucking background thing, and I like it. I like how it turned out. Overall, I like this fucking drawing. I'm pretty proud of it. It was a crowning achievement in the middle of the year for me, and a last-ditch art fight attack. It's what I put like most of my effort into during art fight this year. So this was the drawing that was in one of my speed paints from this channel. It was a Strawberry Cube speed paint, and I picked this one especially because it has a background, and it's something I'm working on. Like, yeah, it's a bit messy. Not every part of it is like perfectly even and stuff, but I like it. I like how it turned out. I think the colors, they hurt my eyes a little bit, but I think I like how they look. Especially with like the what's it called, chromatic aberration, where it's like looks like the separation of colors that you'll especially notice in like older games or like older just media like cartoons and stuff. They'll have like that subtle aberration, and it was especially something that made sense for Strawberry Cubes and the colors that were used in the game. Like, I just pretty much used colors that were from the game, like the black, the red, and the bright purple were all just colors from the game. And the white, obviously, like, I shaded it with blue, and there's like a kind of a pinkish tone there too, but that's really like all I changed from the game. But I wanted to keep the game's main palette. In fact, this like sort of floor thing, this ground, is just straight up from a screenshot of the game. Like, I didn't know how to like duplicate the pixel art in it. I wanted to make the ground like based off on the pixel art in the game, right? Based on the textures in the game, but I didn't know how to just achieve that myself without directly drawing pixel art. But I didn't know how to do that to like the scale of this drawing, like how many pixels wide it was. I don't have a pixel art brush that does massive pixels, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know why I said you know what I'm saying, as if you can just respond to me. But anyways, yeah. But yeah, like I liked how this turned out. I do think something that I want to work on more is not necessarily having a character smack in the middle of a drawing. sitting there. Like I'm trying to work on composition a bit more. I feel like compositionally this looks fine. Like there's nothing wrong with it compositionally with having a character in the middle, but I'm trying to avoid having characters smack in the middle of something and also avoid characters looking directly at you, because I think a lot of my drawings, background or no background, the character is just in the middle of it and just looking directly at the camera, or they might be turned slightly to the side and then looking still directly at the viewer. So I'm trying to mix that up a little bit. Obviously, you know, her eyes are closed, but you know what I mean. I would like to vary that a bit. Like this is a drawing of my D&D character Mouse, and you know, again, character smack in the middle, looking directly forward. But yeah, this was another one where it was like a doodle that I took too seriously. Like I was just doodling. I was like on a call with my friends, with my D&D friends, and like I was just doodling Mouse, and then I kept painting more and like drawing more, and I liked how it turned out. It's obviously not like a super clean render and stuff, you know, with the like this block sort of brush texture I, you know, had on the hair and stuff, and obviously the clothes she's wearing is simple. Like I didn't draw based off her actual clothing. I just drew, you know, a black shirt. But I like how this looked. I like how dreamy it looks, like with the smoke. I know it doesn't really look much like smoke, but I still like it, and I like the sort of glow effect I added to everything, and I just really like this drawing, and I've actually been using it as like a icon for like Twitter and stuff. So like what can I say? It's, again, I like the colors that I edited onto it, right? You know, again, lots of purple, some blue. You know, this one has a bit of green in it too, though, but like it looks good. It fits, it suits it, and I like it. This is another D&D character that I had for a one-shot. Technically like a 3-shot, but I only got to play in the first session while the rest of the group got to play the rest. So this was just, you know, her name was Ursula. For a second I couldn't remember her name. I'm sorry, baby girl. And yeah, she was like I believe it's called a revenant human. It's this variant that's basically, she's kind of like a zombie, essentially. She was brought back to life with a certain purpose. And so yeah, so that's why she's got like, that's why her skin is like gray, and like I've got like this sort of like discoloration around like the eyes and mouth where it's like turning kind of black, and the black eye with the white iris. I thought that would be interesting to look at, and I don't know, man, I just fucking with mushrooms. I like how mushrooms look aesthetically, and I want to draw them more. I want to also draw plants more and stuff like that. Definitely. But yeah, I was fucking with mushrooms, and I'm like, what if she just has like mushrooms growing out of her face, and what if some of her bones show? And it's like the rest of her you can't see, but I imagine like other parts of her body she's got exposed bones too as well. And then obviously she is a maid. Like it was a very like sort of Victorian inspired story. It was like it was a murder mystery kind of one shot where, you know, it takes place at a certain mansion, and again, I don't really want to go too into it because I feel like this is already going longer than intended, but yeah, this was like, basically I drew a sketch of like her whole body, her whole look, but then I zoomed in like on like the upper part, and I was like, yeah, let me render this, let me look prettier, you know. And so this is what the result of that was. In background, I just did like simple lines, you know. I could have done other stuff. I could have just not included the stripes, but I think it looks fine either way. And this is another one where like I left some of those, you know, pencil lines behind without covering them up because I feel it looks fine. Like I like how it looks stylistically that way. This was for a draw this in your style. I am forgetting off the top of my head. I can't remember off the top of my head the name of the artist, but I will put that in the video, obviously. This was a draw this in your style I did, and I like it. I do think I could have done a better job. I did it in a pretty fast amount of time, and I think I could have definitely spent more time on it to do a bit more with it. Like again, this video consists of like some of my favorite drawings from the year, and I do like this one a lot. And I do like that I went for like a different sort of technique with like drawing, a different process is what I should say, because I drew this in black and white first, and then I added any semblance of color on top of that instead, using like whatever blending layer I used. I don't know, I don't think it was multiply, it was probably overlay or something like that. And like, yeah, it's mainly like a black and white drawing, excuse me, mainly like a black and white drawing, but a lot of it is like tones of gray, shades shades of gray. But the gray is, you can see like kind of this like pinkish reddish tone to it. So even that was like colored on top of. And I don't have the gray version, uploaded, but not uploaded, open right now. Huh. I'm losing my mind. Anyways, so I don't have the just, black and white version right now open, but I can put that in the video. And basically, I think I should probably try doing that a little more often, because I think something I do need to work on are my like tones, right? So like actually getting like those darker shading colors and lighter sort of lighting colors, like actually what's the word I'm trying to think of? Contrast. Giving more contrast to some of my drawings. 'Cause sometimes like I don't really notice until I'm editing the colors, and like just recently I started like looking more at like editing the levels, which is like, it impacts like how dark some of the colors are and how light they are. So it's something I think I need to work on more. And even like the black and white version of this, a lot of it is more leaning mid-tone gray. So I think I do need to work more on that. But I do think it's good that like it was a technique that I tried out, starting with gray and then just slapping the colors on top of that. It is something I think I should try out more. But yeah, I also think stylistically this might look a little like different than what I usually do. Like the eyes are a bit different than how I usually do eyes and stuff. But I was just trying stuff out. But yeah, there's some things that I'd probably clean up a bit more, or things that I would add to it. Like I didn't shade like the shirt really, like that's just painted. And then like the hair, like I think I could have put more detail into shading the hair, but besides like the bangs and the like hair framing the face, like that got more detailed than like the hair that's in the background, which like I mean that could be seen as intentional, because like the focus is the face, but I do feel like I just went a little too simple on the hair in the back. But yeah. This one was another one from Speed Paint. This is a character from Hunter x Hunter. I do really like how this turned out, honestly. I think I did a good job. I like the background that I did. It makes sense with this character's story, and I don't want to go too into it or anything. Like overall, I like how I drew Kurapika. Like I don't know how much I have to say about this one. I do think the way I rendered like this leg, the way I drew this leg, I should say, maybe isn't the most accurate. I'm not good at foreshortening. It's not something I've done a whole lot of. And I didn't look at a reference image for this. I just went for it with this pose and did my best. But I thought the background looked interesting. I've been doing this kind of thing like with the Demon Boys drawing earlier, where I cut off, like, I had the stained glass as a rectangle, and then they kind of pop out of the stained glass. So this one's like, he's kind of popping out of the rectangle, and then the eyes are, relevant to his story. It's something, again, I don't want to get into it too much, but it's like relevant to his people who were slaughtered to have their eyes stolen and stuff like that. And his power kind of revolves around him getting revenge for that, but it's like a sort of risky power, because if he misuses it, then he will get stabbed in the heart by these sort of like this dagger that's at the end of the chains that like I have not thoroughly explained. So anyways, so I like this drawing, and I did use a chain brush to draw the chains initially, but then I shaded them so that they actually, fit with everything else in the drawing that's been shaded in a painterly art style and whatnot. So I with the smaller chains, I really didn't go too much in detail with those though. I just kind of, slapped a little bit of shading here and there in the colors. But obviously with the bigger chains, I did a bit more detail on that shading, because I felt like it made more sense, because you're going to see them a bit better. So, yeah. And then this drawing, if you remember this drawing from the beginning of the year, I streamed it, the sketch of it. I streamed the sketch in, I think, April or May of 2022, and I did not finish it until December of 2022. Because I just kept putting it off. Like, I kept working on it a little bit, and then, like, not feeling fully motivated to work on it, because I knew it was going to be a lot, because there's so many details. Because Final Fantasy characters are so detailed. But I feel like compared to some other Final Fantasy characters, I feel like this isn't even that detailed of a design. But I kept getting intimidated of trying to approach drawing her, and like, it just wasn't happening, and I kept wanting to draw her and wanting to finish it and wanting to for months and months and months. And then just not touching it. And then at the end of the year, I was just like, I need to fucking finish this. I've gotten so far into it. It was like half finished, and I'm like, I want to finish this for me before next year. I need to. I need this. And like the fucking like 1 year anniversary of Endwalker passed, because this is a character from the Endwalker expansion. I'm not gonna go into explaining like any spoilers or anything, but like I'm just like, man, it's the 1 year anniversary of the X pack. It also makes sense to finish this drawing around this time. I need to finish it, and I finally did, and I really like how she turned out. Like I do really think this. I did a good job with this drawing. Genuinely, this is definitely one of the big faves, if not my favorite drawing from this year. But I took so damn long to finish it. I suffered for this drawing. But I do love her. But yeah, it was a fucking journey. It was a journey. And you know what? She has a background. She looks good. I did it. I got there. So fuck everything. I did it. God, I don't know what else to even say. But this is gonna be our last drawing for the video. And this may look familiar because this was literally last week's speed paint. Or the week before, because this video's late. This was my most recent speed paint. This is another character from Final Fantasy XIV, from Endwalker, but specifically like the Endwalker patches. And again, not gonna go into detail, not gonna do any spoilers. But yeah, this was a drawing that I ended up putting out late because it was one of those where I was not satisfied. Like, I drew her and I like, quote unquote finished her, and I'm like, this is not enough. I don't like this. I need to do better. And then I went back to it like days later and I finished it, and I like how she turned out. So yeah, look at her. Look at her lighting. Look at her being backlit. Yeah. Like some things I can point out though are like the lines. So I mentioned earlier, like I've gone back and forth on if I want to include line art and stuff or not. And sometimes like I also have like different processes for when I do line art. Like sometimes it's me just cleaning up the pencil sketch as I go. Other times I add line art after the fact. Like I paint everything and then the line art is like the last thing I paint onto it, like on the same layer that I've painted other stuff. That's how I did this one. This is painted like on the same layer as all the other colors. But I decided to try something that I see with some artists where they don't put lines on everything. They only put lines on certain parts of the drawing. And for me, I felt like it was good to put them like around like the neck area where it's this way I could like make more of a distinction between those parts. And like I did it like a little on the hat and stuff too, just so that you could see some seams and stuff. But I didn't put it like everywhere, like it's not all over the clothes and stuff. You know, I wanted to put it where like aesthetically it would look good or look right kind of, but also where it might help to sort of make parts of it look distinct. Like I didn't put it on the jewelry because I felt like it would be redundant, it would be extra, I didn't need it there. But it's definitely something I want to mess around with more, just like adding line art sparingly to things. I think it could look interesting. But yeah, overall I like this drawing, I like how the colors ended up, and yeah. I don't know what else to say for now, but yeah, I think that'll be the end of it then. Thank you. If you got this far, thank you very much.